Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I am going to code the Pro document reader, the demo of which I have already posted in the last week, and where I have asked people that whether they are interested to learn about this thing, and I have got a lot of yes, which means that you guys are interested to know that how I build that demo actually, right? In case you haven't already watched the demo and what we are going to do, I'll quickly within 15 seconds would like to demonstrate what we are going to build today, so that in case you are looking this video for the first time, you understand that what we are building. Okay, I am on my desktop, and as you can see, I have got the shortcut which is called Ask GPT UiPath. I'll double click on it. It will fire up our Pro document reader. You have to just pass the document and ask the questions. I'll hit OK. Just pass any of the document. Let's say I'm passing this appointment letter. And now you can simply ask any questions. Who is this letter for? And you would see that the robot responding, it is for Mukesh Kala. Do you have a next question? You can continue, and you can do it with agreement, sales document, appointment letters, resumes, and everything, right? So the idea is we are going to build this thing today from a step-by-step manner. In case you want to learn it, please follow this complete video. Okay. So before getting started, in case you are new to this channel and haven't already subscribed, please consider subscribing to this channel for the upcoming videos in this series, right? So let's get started. Okay, so I am in my UiPath studio. Okay, I have created a solution which is absolutely blank as of now, right? The first thing we have to do is we need to understand that what are the things we are going to need for this demo, right? For that, I am going to go to the browser first, and I want to show a marketplace activity which is called GPT Activities, which is developed by internal labs. This is again from UiPath. Okay, so I'll post this link in the description where you can read more about this thing, right? So UiPath has got a marketplace. In case people who don't know what is marketplace is a place where you will get a lot of components developed by UiPath developers, architects maybe, and companies, right? So any activity which is not available in UiPath by default to drag and drop, you can always come to marketplace and you can have all these activities available here. All you have to do is just copy this name and put it in the UiPath studio, right? So that is how easy it is, right? So what I have done is I have gone to this marketplace and I look for something which is called GPT Activities by internal labs. I'll post this direct link in the description for your reference. Okay, now what does this activity is going to do? I go here and I read about this. There is a video also posted which you can watch, right? So this thing actually extract the data from unstructured free documents. So this is an activity which has this capability, like agreements, contract, insurance policies, financial reports, scientific papers, and as well as emails, right? So you can use this for doing all of these things. Now how this actually works, that's Ask GPT. Again, it's a part of the OpenAI, right? We have already discussed OpenAI in the previous sessions, that how you can integrate OpenAI with UiPath with the help of API keys, right? This thing does not require you to provide the API key, right? How cool is that, right? So what actually happens here, this they have given all this detail. In case you are more interested to read about the data security, you can read it here. And support and the recommendation, the GPT Activity package is not officially supported by the UiPath platform. It is intended to be used for non-production scenarios like demo, POC, pilot projects, right? So this is the thing which you need to take care before you use anything. Just read through the documentation and that will give you all these details. Okay, now once you are done, you can always explore a lot of activities which are available here, and you can actually publish your own activity, become a publisher. That was just an additional information. Okay, fine. So we understand that we have to use this GPT Activities in our package. Now the questions arises, how can I do that, right? You just have to go to your solution. In your solution, you would not have any activities which would actually go and connect to this guy, right? So all you have to do is just go to the project. In the dependencies, right click and click on this guy which says manage. Okay, you can directly open that by clicking on this button at the top which says manage packages, right? Once you are in this project dependencies, if you go back here, you would notice that there is a copy symbol in front of it, right? And as soon as I keep my mouse here, you would notice that marketplace is guiding me that copy this and paste it in the manage packages in the marketplace, right? So I'll follow the instruction. I'll go here and I copy this. It's copied. As you can see, the symbol has changed. Now I go here to my project. In the project dependencies, in marketplace, I'll simply paste it. Okay, and you can see here it says internal labs GPT activity by internal labs. Okay, I go here and I click on this guy which says installed, right? Sometime what might happen, you might not get this thing here, so make sure that you don't have any filter which is applied here. Okay, if you have some filter, it might not come, right? So remove all the filters and then search this. Once you got this, you have to click on this guy which says install, and at the bottom you would have a button which says save, right? It would say restoring dependency, which means that the marketplace component would be now installed on my project. Okay, so if you see here in the dependency, I have got the internal labs.gpt activities available, which means that now if I go to my activities, you would have a section which is called internal labs, and here you would see openai, and you have all these activities which are available, right? If you see, we want to use this GPT activities, so this activity is now available for us, which is right here. Now all we have to do is just use this in our automations. Okay, so for that I'll go here and I click on this guy which says open main workflow. Now to get started, the first thing is I need to know, right, whether the robot has started or not. So I'll go to the activities and I'll drag and drop a message box, right? We are creating a kind of an attended automation, so that's why we are using message box. In case you plan to build an unattended automation, message box should not be used. Okay, so I'll drag and drop a message box here. Okay, and then you can give any name here, right? So let's give it something like welcome to the pro reader robot, and this is the code, right? So you can give any message, you can name it anything. I called it pro reader robot, you can name it by yourself as well. Okay, fine. So once you have this thing, when the robot will run, first thing is we'll get a pop-up which says that welcome to this pop-up, welcome to this the robot, right? What is the next thing? Once this pop-up has come, right, we need to inform the user to provide the file, right? We need to ask the user to provide the file. Now there can be multiple ways to do that. You can always use arguments. You can read that path from assets. You can ask the file path in the email, anything you can do. So for this demo, what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly put one more message box here, right? And I'm going to instruct the user that after you click OK on this message box, you need to upload the file, right? This is an attended, so we are asking the user to upload the file. Okay, so I'll go here and I simply say, right, click OK to upload the file. So once the user click OK, it will go and upload the file, right? Now in the message box, if you go to the properties, there are some good practice. Always rename like this. So this is a welcome and this is a instruction, right? You can name it anything, right? So you can put your own creativity here and design it as per your requirement. Okay, so we have got two message box. Now first it will say welcome, then somebody will say and click OK, and now it should actually go and show a pop-up where the user can actually browse for the documents. Okay, so I'll go to the activities and I'll search something which is called browse. In UiPath, we have activity inside system file which is called browse for file and browse for folder, which allows you to select the folder and the file. I want to have a file, right, because it can be PDF, Word doc and all those things. So I'm going to use this guy which is called browse for file inside system file browse for file. Drag and drop it here like this, right? So this activity name is browse for file. Now it is asking here what kind of file you want to upload, right? You always can restrict this robot to work only on Word, PDF, Excel, CSV, but for this demo I am keeping it as all file because I want to do it for all kind of files, right? So I have done this thing. Now what will happen when this activity will run? It will actually go and show a pop-up where the user have to select the file. Once the user select the file, the complete path of the file would be available with this activity, which means that I need to store that path in some variable. So I'll go here in the selected path, file path, click here and I hit Ctrl+K. That is the shortcut to actually create a variable, right? So I create a variable called str file path. I'll go to the variables and you would notice that my string variable is created, right? So this is done, this is done. Browse for file and I'll get the file in this location. Okay, now what is the next thing? The next thing is we have to read this content of this document and we have to pass it to the GPT activity. But the check here is that I do not know, right, whether the file which I have got is a PDF, it can be a Word file, it can be any other extension. So how do I manage that? So for that, let's quickly go here. I'll use a write line activity. Okay, and I want to see when I actually go and use this one str file path, what actually I am getting, right? So I'll save this, I'll go here and I simply say run the file. Okay, now this is just to test whether the code is going in correct direction or not, and I want to see what exactly I am getting in this complete file path and do I have the extension or not. Okay, so we'll wait for this automation to compile and run. Okay, so the automation has started. As you can see the first message box, welcome to the Pro Reader robot, and this is the code, and I hit OK. Click OK to upload the file. As you can see the spelling of the upload is wrong, we need to correct it, right? So click OK to upload the file. Once I click OK, now a pop-up would appear where I need to select the file, right? So I'll hit OK. And you would see that this pop-up has open which says select the file, and now I am expected to select a file, right? Let's try to select this guy, which is the appointment letter, and I say open. That path of that complete thing would be now available in the output. So D temp files actual appointment letter, right? So this is the place where my files are kept. So I can see that once I am running this automation, in this variable I will get this value. Okay, now as you can see at the last I am getting .pdf. If I upload a Word file, I'll get .docs or .docx, right, .csv and so on, right? So that means that by looking at the extension I can actually get what kind of file this is, right? And that is what we wanted to do, right? So I'll go here, and first thing is I'll get the extension of the file which is being uploaded, right? So I'll just remove this guy here from here and I'll put a log message activity. Now why I'm putting log message activity? Just to see that what is happening in the automation. I'll put an info level log and I'll simply say that reading the file, and I say str file path, right? So str file path will then be actually having the complete file path. After this I have to get the extensions, right? So if you see here I have this extension here. So to get the extension I'll simply use an assign activity, drag and drop it here. After this, okay, I'll create a new variable. I'll call it str underscore extension, right? Not plus, actually str underscore extension. What is the value to save? I'll open this in the advanced editor, right? And that should open this editor. Now here you simply have to get the extension from the path. Now how do you do it? You simply use this thing, path dot get extension. So path is a class of the IO where you can simply use this function which is called get functions. You just have to open this braces and you have to simply pass the complete path. So my complete path is in this variable str file path. If I hit OK, in the str extension now I will get the PDF, JPEG, XLS, right? Whatever you have the extension of the file, you will get in str underscore extension, right? So I'll go here, best practice, get the extension. Okay. Once you have got this extension, that means that I know whether my file is a PDF, it's a Word file, or what kind of file it is, right? Based on that, I have to make a decision how actually you are going to read it. Because if you have to read Excel, so you are going to use read range. If you have to use a PDF, you have to use read PDF. If you have to use a Word file, you would have Word application scope, right? So that means that after this step you have to make a decision, right, based on which kind of extension, what activity of UiPath I am going to use. So I'll first take a if activity, and for this demo what I'm going to do, I am going to do it with only two files, which is PDF and Word, right? You can replicate this approach and add more different kind of files, right? So I'll totally leave that implementation to you. I'm simply going to use a if condition, right? In the if condition, I simply say that whatever extension I am getting, if it contains whatever extension, right? If it is a PDF, so that means that you have to use these activities to read the PDF. Now what are these activities? How do you read the PDF? It's very simple. You go to activities and you search read PDF, and you don't have the package, right? So I'll close this. I'll go again to the manage packages. Okay. And here in the all packages, I'll search here UiPath.pdf because I want to read the PDF. So I'm going to use UiPath.pdf activities and I click on install, right? Similarly, at the same time, I want to also install the Word dependency because some file I am expecting in the Word file .docx format. So at the same time with PDF, I'll simply go here and I'll say UiPath.word as well, and UiPath.word.activities, and I install, and I simply click on save, right? So I have added two dependencies, guys. One is for the PDF and one is for the Word activities, right? So those of you who are a bit experienced in UiPath now, you would understand what this dependency does. In case you are not understanding what does this dependency do and why we are adding it, watch the complete beginner foundation. You can follow the channel or you can simply follow the UiPath Academy, right? So now in the project, I have got the dependency for PDF because I want to use PDF, and I have got dependencies for the Word as well, right? Now, if the extensions contains PDF, right, let's go to activities and search for PDF. And I have got the PDF activities. So I'll use this guy, which is called read PDF text. Drag and drop it here. Activity is very simple. It is asking you, where is the PDF? So where is the PDF? Now remember, you do not have to pass this str extension, right? This is only having the extension. Complete file is available in this variable str file path, right? So you'll pass this guy here, which is str file path. Job done. And the output of this would be a string variable, which is a text. So I can simply create a variable here by hitting Ctrl+K, and I'll say that this is str_input. So I have got the input. So whatever document, if it is a PDF, UiPath will go, it will read the PDF and it will store the content in this guy, which is str_input, right? Now in the else part, because for this demo, We are only expecting two things. One is PDF and one is Word, right? In case you tend to do it with multiple files, right, you can simply use this extension, keep on replicating. If it is PDF, do this. If it is Word, do this. If it is Excel, do this, right? You can keep replicating this logic. But for me, only two things, so I am using an if else activity. If you have more than these guys, remember the concept of flowchart, right? We have noticed that we have learned that we do not use nested if, right? So if you have more than 3 or 4 nested if, we are going to use the flowchart, right? So for this demo, I have only two files, one is PDF and one is Word, so I can use the if else, right? Always remember the best practice. Okay, now if it is not PDF, then I know that I'm going to give Word. How do you read Word? Simply go to activities and I search here Word. Now, for those of you who are absolute beginner to the word automation and do not understand any of these activities, I have a dedicated beginner playlist on the word automation with UiPath. I have posted the link of this complete playlist in the description for your reference. Okay, now to read the word, I'll simply use this guy, which is called word application scope, right? In case you are not getting these activities, just check whether you have the word activities package available or not. Okay, I have it. That is why I am getting this word application scope. In the else, I'll drag and drop this here. Word application scope is asking me where is your document path. The document path is str file path, right? Now why I am passing here? Because I know that I am only going to pass either PDF or either Word, right? So I hope you understand this concept. I have passed this word application scope, this thing. Now to read the text, you have an activity in the Word which is called read text, right? Read text inside the Word. Drag and drop it here. And it's asking me, I'll go to the Word file, I'll read the content. Where do you want to save this content, right? So I already have created a variable here which is called str input. If it is PDF, str input. If it is Word, store in the same variable, right? So I see here str input. I'm not getting that here because of the scope. Okay, so I'll go here in the, then click on this activity in the variable. Str input scope is still sequence. I'll increase this to the main sequence like this. And now str input. Some of you might be thinking that, Mukesh, why didn't you created a new variable? Right? See, for me, I am reading the text. Okay, it can be from a PDF, it can be from the Word file. At a time, I am only going to get either a PDF or either a Word, right? This would never happen that I am getting both of them together, right? Because it's an if else. So if it's PDF, we'll get the input in str input. If it's a Word, again we are getting it str underscore input, which means that after this if else, I would have str underscore input, which would have this complete value, right? So I'll rename this if read the input. So we are done. Okay, we have read the input. Now what I have got is I have got the file with me. So that file is readed now. Once the robot or the Ask GPT activity have read it, what do you want to do? You want to ask a question, right? If you remember, you have to ask a question. So that means you have to get some input from the user. So after that, I'm going to use an activity which is called input dialog. Drag and drop it here. After this, right after this one, the dialog title is something which appears on the top of that thing, right? So you can, I'll just first rename this to good practice. I'll just rename it to question. What is the dialog title? The dialog title is ask your question. I'll copy paste the same thing in the label. You can change it to make it more customized, right? So I'll keep it to the default settings. Once that is done, UiPath is asking me, where do you want to store this value? So I want to store this in value in a new variable, which is called question. So I'll hit Control plus K and I'll create a new variable called str underscore question. And that's it. So this is the only thing you have to do in the input dialog activity. So I hope you are following along till this point. So we have read the input, and then I have got this one, which is an input dialog. I configured it this way: ask your question, and whatever question the user gives, we are going to store it in the str_question, right? I quickly remember that I had a spelling mistake in the upload, right? So I'll just fix it. Yeah, okay, fine. So we have got the complete input in a variable which is called, I'll go to the properties, str input, and the question in str_question. So I have got the complete input, which is the complete document, and I have got my question with me, right? Now all we have to do is just ask this question and pass this document to the GPT model. So for that, I'll go to the projects. In the project, yeah, we have this dependency internal labs.gpt activities, which we have added. Now if I go to the activities, and in here, internal labs, openai, drag and drop this guy, which is ask GPT. Okay, now I'll just collapse. Ask GPT is a simple activity. It's having only two arguments. The first argument is, tell me where is your text you want to extract the data from. Where is our text? Our text, whenever I was reading from the PDF or I was reading from the web or Word, I was using in str input, right? So that thing will pass here, which is str input. Now it's asking me list of questions. Now if you click on here, if you go to the properties, list of question is a string array, which means that I can ask multiple questions. Now how do you want to ask the question? Do you want to ask a lot of questions, or do you want to ask one question at a time? So if you remember, we are asking the user to ask a question. That means that user is going to only give a single question. So if I pass this directly the question here, it won't work, because this guy is saying that I need in the question list, I need a string array, and your str question is a string. How do you convert a string array to string? That's absolutely simple. All you have to do is that put in the form of array. To provide the question list, you just have to use open and close braces, and here you use str_question. If I have multiple question, I just put a comma, and then I can provide the next set of questions as well. Okay, so I want to ask a single question, so str_question would come in this guy. Why I'm doing this? Because it's a string array, right? I'll hit OK, and the error is gone. Okay, now so ask GPT, this is the activity, guys, which we are using. This is from OpenAI, activities, extract and respond. Best part, we do not need to provide any API key, anything. You have all these options, right? Once you got this, where do you want to store the output, right? So the output of this thing, we are going to, so you see here in the output, we have got something which is called response list, and then we have something which is called response. So response is a list of dictionary, and response list is the list of answers which you will get as per the questions. So I'll go here, and in the response list, I'll hit Ctrl+K, and I'll create a variable of response list. So I'll go here in the properties, as you can see that response list is created. I'll go to the variables, and you can see that it is a list. It is a list of dictionary. Okay, so this is a quite complex, I would say. It's a list of dictionary. So what does this mean, right? So I'll quickly open a notepad, because to understand the output, right, first you need to understand the structure. Okay, so what we have got here, we have got a list and then a dictionary of string and string, right? So first understand what is a questions which we are going, right? So we are providing the question like this: question number 1, question number 2, question number 3. So this is the input to the model, right? This is our input. Now when we get an output, we are going to get an output in a dictionary first. So the first question, we are going to get it like question number 1, answer number 1. So one dictionary. Question number 2, answer number 2. My bad. Question number 3 and answer number 3, right? So this guy is one dictionary. This is the next item in the dictionary, and this is the other dictionary, right? Now all of this is going to come in a single variable. So 1, 2, 3, that is why it is list. So the final output would something look like this. Sorry, my bad. I'll hit a tab, tab and tab. So this is how you are going to get the output. Okay, so input would be question, 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 and the output would be as per the question, like this, like this, like this. These are the dictionaries, and the complete thing is a list. So that's why it is called list of dictionary of string and string, right? String and string, this means that question and answer, both of them would be a string. Okay, now if you see here, what we are doing, we are only asking one question. So that means that for my output, I would have only this thing. Okay, if you have multiple question, you would have that list, but for us, input is this one question, and the output would be a list which is having a dictionary, question 1 and answer 1, and that is stored in a variable of response list. All we have to do now is we have to print that in a message box or in a write line. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use a message box, right? I want to show the output, so I'll use a message box. I'll open this in advanced editor, right? I'll just maximize. This is our output. This to better understand, I'll just put it as the response list, right? Okay, fine. So I'll simply write response list. Okay, it is asking me, give me the index as the integer, which means that give me the index always start with 0, right? So where it is, I want to read the first thing, so I'm going to pass here 0, which means that now I have got this thing. Okay, when I write response list and I do not write 0, I get this complete thing. When I write response list of 0, I am getting only this thing now. Now I have the question and the answer with me, right? Now from this one, what is the thing you are interested in? So from this thing, it's asking me, provide me the name. Where exactly are you going to get it, right? So here I'll simply pass, you can pass the index, or you can pass directly the answer as well. Or if you see here, the answer is located in the second position. This is 0 and this is 1. So you can pass 1 here, right? But to make it readable and to make you guys understand, from the response list, I am interested in the answer. And output of this, I want to have it in a string variable. So just writing here dot to string. And I hit OK. So if this thing works, I should be able to get the answer in this message box. Okay, I'll go to the folder where we have kept all these documents, right? So I'll just show it to you here. So we have this appointment letter, which is a PDF, right? Let's quickly open that. You can create your own appointment letters, right? You can use your own. So this is an appointment letter, guys. So this is for Mukesh Kala, 10th of May. I am getting an account manager. This is my company, tutorials by Mukesh Kala, and it has got some conditions and all, right? Let's try to get some answers for this one, right? So we'll read this PDF and we'll see whether our automation is working fine or not, right? You can pass any of your own document. I'm back into the automation and let's try to run the file. And I need to see whether this is able to give me the correct answer or not. Okay, so we'll wait for the execution. Okay, so the automation started. I can see that welcome to the Pro Robot, and this is the code. I hit OK. Click OK to upload the file. Now a file dialog should appear. Yes, and we should provide the file. Let's pass this appointment letter and I say open. Now, based on the extension, we are going to use the read PDF activities. Once the read PDF activity is done, we will get the input in str_input, and this. So this is coming from the input dialog which we have put ask a question. So let's say, when is my joining date? And I hit OK, and this thing would be now getting passed to the ask GPT activity, and from there it would be passed to the response list, and from the response list it is getting me the first item which says 15th May of 2023. Let's see that. It says 10th May, but I think that's not the thing. Yeah? Start date is 15th May 2023, right? So that means that it is correct. I hit OK, and that means that this thing is working for us. But if you see here, if I hit OK, the bot stop. It didn't ask me for a new question, right? But ideally what I want to do is I want to keep this running till the time I don't have any more questions, right? So that means that once I have got this answer, I want the robot to ask me for a new question. So I'll just open this one, right? After this, once this response is done, I want the robot to ask me that, do you have a new question, right? Or I think a better word would be next question, right? Do you have a next question? And like this, I want to append this. This is a string variable, right? This is a string variable. So I will hit a plus here, and I want to have it in a new line. So I'm using environment dot new line so that it will put a enter after this answer, right? And I'll copy this thing twice, right? So I'll just do better readability. Yeah, this is what I have done. First we'll get the answer, which is this thing. I'll hit a plus, environment dot new line, that will add a new line. I'm adding 2 lines, and after that I am asking that, do you have a next set of questions, right? So this is the thing which will come: answer, then a two line, enter, and then do you have a new question, right? And I hit OK. Now this again is not a message box. Now this is a answer, right? So I changed it. Now in the message box, now I was only getting the OK button. I want the message box to give me yes or no, right? So I'll go to the properties, and here you see that you have something which is called buttons. Now in the buttons, if you select the drop down, you would have all these options. You want OK, OK cancel, yes no cancel, or yes no, right? So I want a yes no. That's it, right? So now when I run this automation, my message box will show me that, do you have a new question? Either the user can select yes or the user can select no, right? Now this yes or no, it depends on the user, right? So it might vary. So I'm going to use the chosen button here. I'll hit Ctrl+K, and I say this is the response. I'll just write it like this, response button, right? So whatever user gives yes or no, that would be stored in this variable chosen button, right? And if you see here, if we just go and hover my mouse like this, you would see that it says that I am going to give you this response in a form of a string variable. It's written here string, right? So whether the user provide yes or no, that would be available here. Now the task is simple. Till the time user say no, you have to keep repeating this thing. So you have to keep repeating this thing, which means that I want to loop this. Now Which kind of loop? That is why, guys, I always tell your basics should be strong, right? This is where you implement all your concept, right? Should I use a for each? Should I use a while? Should I use a do while, right? I'll wait for 5 seconds to let you guys guess which kind of loop I'm going to use here, for each, while, or do while. Okay, I'll wait for your comments. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, cool. So I hope you guys have answered it correctly. I want to run it in the loop, right? But I have a requirement that at least one time I have to use it, right? Because first time I want to have that message. So I have a requirement that at least one time it should work. So such thing is done with the help of do while. So I'll drag and drop this control flow right after this answer. Do while, what do you want to do? I want the user to ask a question, right? What is the thing we want to do in repeated? We want to ask the question, user, that do you have a new question? Ask GPT and give the answer, right? So these are the three things we want to do in a loop, right? Ask the question, get the answer, show the message. So whatever we want to do in loop, I'll drag and drop this thing inside the do while. Okay, so in the do while, now I have the question, I have the ask GPT, and I have the answer. But when do we have to stop? We have to continue this thing. See, the body execute as long as this condition is true. Now, what is our true condition? You remember the response button. This is the response from the message box. If it contains yes, right? If the user select yes, and now I have got this condition here which says response button dot contain yes, right? So that means that this will keep following till the time the user select no. As soon as it select no, this will not come for the next question, right? If I go to the do while, this same condition response button dot contain yes, you can specify it in here as well, which is the condition. This is the same thing, right? So this complete our automation, guys. So we have this guy which is employment letter. So all we have done is we have run it in the loop, right? Let's see that in action. I'll go here and I say run the file. Okay, so welcome to the Pro Reviewed Robot code. I hit OK, upload the document, click OK to upload the file. I say OK. Now a pop-up would appear and it would allow us to select the file. I'll select the appointment letter and I say open. Okay, and it would be read, and the next thing is it will now tell me that ask me a question based on that document. Okay, ask your question. So I say that who is my manager, and I say okay. It is also asking me two things. Do you have a new question? Yes or no? And you can see this enter. This we have given from environment.newline, right? If I say no, it will stop. But if I say yes, it will run that do while loop and it should pop up me ask your question again, right? So I'll just ask that what is my company name? Okay, which company I am getting offered to, and I say okay. So now this is again coming from the document whichever you have provided. So it should read, get you all these details by understanding that input. Okay, and it says that tutorials by Mukesh Kala. Do you have a next question? I can say yes and it can continue. But when I say no, this automation should stop. So if I say no, the loop stopped and it completely got executed, right? Now let's try to test this with the help of a Word file now, right? So I'll again go and I say run the file. So I go here and I say welcome to the Pro Rebut code, click OK to upload a file, and this time I am going to select a Word file. So I have got this agreement. I select OK. Now this is an agreement between two parties, sales agreement something, right? So you can pass it the any Word document. Once it is read, now this time it is a Word file, so it will reading the Word application scope activity, right? Word application scope will open the document because that's a property of Word application scope, right? We have discussed that in the Word automation series. So it should open the document. Once that is done, it has successfully read the document, understood. It will allow you to ask a question, right? As you can see at the bottom, we can see that word being open, right? So this indicates that the word activities are working, right? So it's done, right? It has read the word document, and now ask a question, right? So who is this agreement from? I hit OK, and let's see who is this agreement from. So I have kept two parties, ABC and XYZ, right? You can have it anything. You can see I'm getting ABC Private Limited, right? Do you have a next question? Yes, no, that goes into the loop. So I hit no, and that completes the automation in the UiPath Studio, right? The next thing what we are going to do is we are going to publish this and create it as a shortcut for you, right? So I hope you are able to reach this till this point. If that is the thing, just like this video and let me know in the comments, right? That would actually encourage me to build more of such videos. Okay, so now we have to publish our code to the orchestrator. For that, the first thing first is our orchestrator should be available and we should be connected to that. So I'll quickly validate. This is my cloud.uipath.com. I am connected to tutorials by Mukesh Kala tenant, and I have this unattended folder where I am trying to publish this. Okay. So I'll go back to my UiPath Studio, and as you can see at the bottom, I can see that I am connected to the unattended folder of tutorials by Mukesh Kala Orchestrator, right? So you have to make sure that you are connected to the correct tenant and the correct folder is selected for you, right? How do you know that I am connected? You can always check with this guy, which is UiPath Assistant. As you can see, this green indicates that I am connected to the tenant. Okay. Now, all of this is validated. If you are not connected, make sure that you are connected to the orchestrator. This shows green, then only your publish would work. Okay. All I do is go and click on this guy which says publish. This is our new package, ask GPT underscore code, right? We are publishing it for the first time. So I leave it to the default settings and I say next. Here it is going to ask me, where are you going to publish this? To the tenant feed or to the personal workspace or to the custom, right? So I'm going to select the orchestrator tenant feed. That is where this automation is going to go now, right? After that, I'm going to go here and I simply click on this guy which says next. And here you have this button which says publish. Once you click on that publish button, what is going to happen that this packet would be compiled as a NuGet package and it would be sent and available in the orchestrator, right? In the beginning, we have already discussed that how all of these things work. So in case you are new to Orchestrator and do not understand this thing, I would request you to go and see the basics of Orchestrator first. Then you would understand all of this and that would make sense, right? For the experienced people, you already know that we have just published it to the Orchestrator. Okay, I'll hit OK. Okay, and this is the name of the project, which is ask underscore GPT. I'll hit OK. And that completes the publish. Okay, let's go to the orchestrator now. In the orchestrator, we published it to the tenant feed. So I am in the same orchestrator, as you can see, tutorials by Mukesh Kala. I'll go to the tenant and then you navigate to something which is called packages. Okay, click on the packages and here you should see the code which you have just published, right? So this is, I have a lot of code here because I have been doing this a lot, right? So you have to follow the name which you have given here, right? So I have given the name ask GPT underscore code, right? That is what we are doing today. So ask GPT underscore code. This is the thing which I'm interested in. It's a blank process and I have published it 1 minute ago, right? So these indicate that my process or NuGet is now available in the orchestrator. Okay, now all we have to do is just create a process out of it and it should be available for us in the assistant. Okay, so I'll go to the unattended folder which is available here. We'll simply go to the processes, right? And as you can see here, I do not have the GPT code process which is available. So I'll go here, add a new process, select the package which is ask GPT underscore code. Okay, I only have one entry point. Leave everything to the default settings. I have only one version because we just published it for the first time. I'll hit next, next, and I'll simply say create. And successful, right? My process is created successful. I can close this window and you would see something which is called ask GPT underscore code, right? This is the first one, old one which I created, which I shown in the demo, right? So this is the new one, ask GPT underscore code. Okay, once this is created as in process here, this same guy should be now available in your assistant. And as you can see, I am in my UiPath assistant. I'll just minimize everything. Okay, this is my UiPath assistant. Under the automation, as you can see that I am getting ask GPT underscore code, right? And there is a symbol which says you need to download it because I just created the process. Assistant does not know that I have to download it or do not have to download it, right? So I'm instructing it to go here and simply click on this guy which says download, and you would see that package getting installed, or I would say the process getting installed in the UiPath assistant. Okay, so we'll just wait for this installation to get completed. Once your installation is completed, you would not see that download icon, and it should be available for you here, right? It says never run because we never triggered it, right? Now all you have to do is just I can close this, and to execute this you can simply go and click on this guy which says the run. Now you might have seen in my previous videos that I have this thing in my desktop and not from the UiPath assistant, right? So what I did with this latest version, I would say with the latest updates in UiPath, you can actually create shortcuts for your automation. So that is just I did, right? So the name of our automation is askgpt underscore code. It is available here. All I can do is click on these three dots and I can say that create a desktop shortcut. I click on that and a shortcut was created for ask GPT code. You can find it on your desktop. I hit OK, and at the top you can see that I have got the ask GPT underscore code, which is this guy, right? It's available at the top, this one. Okay, so that is how you create the shortcut. Now all you have to do is just double click on that, and you have your personal assistant ready in your computer, which actually does this reading of the documents, right? Let's quickly validate. I'll double click on that and you would see that this actually fire up the UiPath assistant, right? The first thing first, it is asking you welcome to the pro rover, and hyphen code indicates that this is R1, right? So I hit OK, click OK to upload the file. We have corrected the spelling. I hit OK. Now here you simply have to select a document. So let's select a PDF file here, which is an appointment letter. I say open, ask a question, right? So let's ask a question. Who is the manager, right? Because I don't know who is the manager, right? I hit OK, and it says that Elon Musk is your manager, right? Do you have a next question? You can continue this operation and you can keep asking your new questions. So I hope you understand the context. So I just go here and I say no. Right, so this completes our complete demonstration for the ask GPT pro reader robot which we have created, right? I hope you were able to follow along, and you also have got this automation shortcut created for you which can read any kind of documents, right? So you can now make it more modified. You can create it as an unattended automation. You can also create it on the top of UiPath apps. You can create on the top of UiPath forms. Possibilities are endless. You got the base concepts. Now you can create more and more use cases, right? So if this is something which you found interesting and you are able to complete it, just let me know in the comments. You can actually create the same video and post it over your social media. You are happy to tag me over LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook. All the links are available in the description for you. Okay, so with that, I would like to wrap this video here. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, please do subscribe to the channel, and happy automation.